Hi, I'm Stuart from the Norfolk Honey Company and welcome to another of our Maisemore apiaries sponsored videos for 2017. Today we've come down to one of our alternative apiaries. We've been having a few problems with, we think, rodents of some sort. I blamed the rabbits, but the feedback that I've been getting is that it could be rats that are causing the damage. So we've decided to move the hives to different apiaries to try and prevent some of that damage. And here at this apiary we've got a really nice setup. We're in an enclosure that has a nice high fence and also hedgerows around the edges. It's all locked up and nice and secure, and we've got several colonies here that we can move into the poly hives. Maisemore Apiaries have sponsored a series of videos for me by donating a range of equipment, including some of their commercial poly hives, and we've shown a series of videos so far of us building them, painting them, and gradually moving bees into those hives. And if you'd like to take a look at those, I'll put a link at the top of the screen for you. So what we're going to do today is move a nucleus colony that's bursting out of its nuke box into one of the poly hives, and then we're going to add a feeder and top that up with sugar syrup, and then hopefully they'll be able to expand into a full-size colony into the autumn, and then be nice and ready for overwintering, and then hopefully next spring there'll be a full-size colony ready to take advantage of any spring crop that we can get. So we're going to light the smoker and get over to the nuke, and we'll catch up there. Okay, so this is our nuke. It's a really nice strong nuke. I'm going to just lift it across onto another stand, and then we'll get the Maisemore poly hive onto this stand, and then we'll start transferring everything across. And it's a very simple process, straightforward process. The only thing that you have to remember is that you need to keep all the frames in the same order that you have them in the nuke. So we'll just get it on there, make sure that we're secure, we don't want that falling off. And that's okay there. And then we've got the poly hive here. So I'll just undo the strap. It comes with the straps, the feeder, everything that you can need for setting up your hive. And I'll put all of the information down in the description below for you, so that you've got all the links that you need to get to the Maisemore Apiaries website. So we've got too many frames in here, so we'll just move these frames out. And I'm also going to take out the Varroa floor, which fits in the bottom. I don't want that in at the moment, so we'll take that out. And then we'll just get everything sorted out on this stand first before we put the bees in. So the bees are going to come back here. We've just opened up the entrance block because I always shut them down completely before we put bees in, just so that nothing can get into them. And we've got a 5-frame nuke here in this rather tatty looking box, so we're going to now transfer those across. Give them a little bit of smoke. And these have been growing very rapidly. We have treated them with Maisemore quick strips, but only the one strip, so you'll see that there's a strip in here, and that's the Maisemore quick strip that we had for them. And that's a 7-day treatment. And if you go onto our Patreon site, you'll see that there's a video that explains how we use the Maisemore quick strips. We're going to transfer them across in this order, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's the order that they'll go across in. But as we transfer them, we'll do a quick inspection as well, just to make sure that everything's okay. And we've got a really nice strong nucleus colony here not too dissimilar from the one that we've got at the allotment, if you've seen our allotment video. And they've been growing and developing really well over the last few months. So one of the issues sometimes with the Maisemore quick strips is that people say that it makes the queen go off laying her eggs, but we've got lots of eggs in this frame. The strip has been on for about 5 days now, and so I think if you are sensible in the use of the Maisemore quick strips, then it's a very effective varroa treatment. So that's our second frame going in and placed in the same position as the frame was in the nucleus colony. Not having to use much smoke at all today, they're nice and calm. Here's the queen. So it's always nice to know that you've got the queen to transfer across, and just turn her around a bit. So we'll get her across and into the main hive body. Just being careful not to crush any bees. Just a little bit of smoke. Another nice full frame of bees and eggs. And the last frame from the nuke box. And so that's our 5-frame nucleus colony transferred into our Maisemore poly hive. And then what I like to do is to just make sure that everything is nice and tight, and I will generally inspect from this side, so I'll make sure that everything is pushed against the left-hand side as I look at it, so against this wall, so that when I come to inspect I've got the space at this bottom edge. And then finally I like to just shake all the bees out of the nuke box. That's the entrance block. So that's all of the bees out of the nuke box. And although the Maisemore quick strip is pretty much spent, we'll leave that on there just to finish off its full week treatment. And the next thing we need to do is to get the feeder on. And this is our feeder. It has a bee space underneath, so we're not going to put it straight down onto the top bars and crush bees. There is a small space beneath here so the bees can move around and go up and into the feeder. And again, I like to place the feeder so that the opening is across all of the frames. If you put it in the same direction as the frames, then the bees can only come up through 2 or 3 frames, whereas if you put it across the frames, then you've got a full width of frames that the bees can come up to. So I'll just pop that on at a slight angle, give it a wiggle, bearing in mind that we have got the Maisemore quick strip under there as well, but that's sitting on quite well, and I'll just go and get some sugar syrup for them. So I've actually removed the Maisemore quick strip. Having said that it was fitting underneath there okay, it was actually causing a bit of an issue. So we need to come up with a way, maybe some kind of eek, a little rim that we can put round just to raise it slightly, so that when we use more treatment we can get these in without it causing any problems underneath the crown board, underneath the cover board, or if we've got a feeder on, then underneath the feeder. So I'll just go and get the sugar syrup and then we can top the feed up. So I'm just going to pop it in the top side. We're on a slight slope here and I haven't got anything to level off the hive, so I want the bees to be able to get to all of the feed. So I've put it in this side, because if I put it in the front side it's just going to run down to the front edge and the bees won't be able to get to it. At least here it's running down to this back section and the bees will be able to come up and feed on it. Okay, and finally, just to make sure that the bees don't drown in the sugar syrup, I'm going to pop in some of this lichen that we used before. Not much, just enough so that the bees can climb up and they've got something that they can get a purchase on, and just to prevent them from getting stuck in the syrup. And lastly, just to dribble some of the syrup down onto the bees through the feeder so that they can detect where it is and then come up and start feeding on it. If you don't do that, then there's a chance that they'll miss it completely and won't come up. And then we put the cover plate back in place and they're all sorted and ready to start expanding in their new home. We've got the cover board, crown board as we would call it, and you might have seen in the previous videos that I have finally realised that they have a protective cover on them, and you can peel that off so that you can see what's going on underneath. So we'll take it off on both sides. Not the easiest thing to do when you're wearing gloves. In fact, what I'll do is I'll leave this side for now because it's pretty much see-through anyway, and we can see the bees down in the main hive body. So the whole process is very straightforward. Moving the nuke into a full-size hive, the only thing that you have to remember is to make sure that the frames go in the same order that they come out of the nuke box. Don't turn the frames around, just get them all matched up nice and evenly. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do consider subscribing. You'll see the button down below and it'd be great to have you along for the rest of the season. Don't forget, we've also got our Facebook group, which is Stuart's Beekeeping Basics, and we're fast approaching 1,000 members of that group now, and it's fantastic that everybody is helping each other with the various beginner questions that are being asked. Finally, my thanks to Maisemore Apiaries for their support in producing these videos. I couldn't do this series without their help and support, so I'm very grateful to Jonathan and the team there. And next week we'll perhaps come back to this apiary and take a look to see how this particular nuke has improved now that they're in one of the Maisemore Apiaries poly commercial hives. So until then, thanks for watching.